Alright guys, it is time to start the semifinals. That's right, it is LastPlayerStanding.com's Open Tournament number 2 semifinals. This is our first semifinal match, and it stars none other than FXOinori, whose ID says Obsidian, but is actually FXOinori, formerly FXOinori, or Inori Foyu rather. He's one of the, I guess, coaches slash captains on Foyu, I found out, from Slog. So yeah, he's made it to the semifinals of this tournament, and he's got to go up against our Zerg player that I was really impressed with last series against Perfect. It is TenryuRH, spawning as our green Zerg over on the right side of Dual Sight. So yeah, Tenryu versus Inori, and I mean, we saw Tenryu take down Perfect. Didn't seem like that much of a challenge for him. So we'll have to see if he's got you know, a little bit more of a challenge in our Korean pro player Inori. And if you guys are kind of unfamiliar with him, it's because we haven't seen him very much in the GSL for a while. I guess he played in Open Season number 2, I believe it was, but other than that, we just really haven't seen him too much. So I'll have to see how he can perform in this tournament right here. He's made it all the way to the semifinals, so that's a good start. This is best of 5, or no, I'm sorry, the semifinals are actually best of 3, so it's still a best of 3 right now. So he's got, you know, 2 or 3 chances to try to get into the next round, which is, of course, the finals. That was a very rambling way of saying it, but I was kind of thinking about other things. You know, that's kind of one of the hard things about casting, is that you're like thinking about what you want to say, and then you're thinking about what you are saying, and then you're thinking about things that you're seeing on the screen at once. You have to have like a lot of open pipelines in the brain going for this. It's not always the easiest thing in the world. So Tenryu doing basically the same opening that we saw him do against Perfect on this map here. Getting that spawning pool and the extractor. Right away he's going to be opening pretty safe. And I'm really curious to see what Inori is planning to do. He got the gateway first, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him do some sort of, you know, gate expand. 3-gate expand, of course, is the safest thing to do. But I don't know. We'll have to see. Now, one of the things that I kind of wanted to mention with this map too is that when you expand as Protoss, it can be a little bit tougher if you don't have, you know, a good amount of buildings blocking things up. Zergling run-bys actually work pretty well on this map. Most Protoss players will go ahead and make sure they have a nice wall off here, but it's something to kind of consider, you know. Drone and probe passing each other. Well, not really in the night. I was going to say in the night, but it's kind of in the day on this side. And it's sort of like in the day here, but it's kind of rough. It's like Char over here, basically, and Agria over here. Saying those things because I just finished a single player. Finally, after like a year. And there's the expo. So expansion is up for Tenryu, playing it really safe, getting a couple lings out first, getting his queen. Now he's going for that Zergling speed. But yeah, I don't know. I have a really hard time playing single player for any sort of RTS game. And it's not just StarCraft. I mean, the single player for StarCraft is actually very good. If you haven't played it, I recommend it. I mean, just finding out what happens in the story alone is worth it. But I've just always had a hard time. I mean, I tend to I've always kind of played RTSs competitively against my friends at the very least, you know, and playing single player doesn't help you with that in a lot of cases. Oh, nice little snipe by Inori, taking out that drone there. I will say this, the one thing that single player does help you with is unit control, because you kind of have to make things happen with smaller amounts of units, especially if you play it on the harder difficulties, so I suppose it's okay for that. And that queen, is she going to put down? Okay, I was hoping you'd put down a creep colony before, or creep tumor rather, before heading out. Creep colony, oh boy. It's back to StarCraft 1 again. Actually went and checked out the Pro League finals the other day. That's kind of the biggest Brood War event in, well, really in the world, I guess, right now. It's a once-a-year thing. That was fun to see. I still enjoy watching Brood War. I mean, there's this kind of feeling out there that you can't be a Brood War fan and a StarCraft 2 fan at the same time, and that's just silly. You can absolutely be a fan of both games at the same time. There's no reason why they can't kind of all get along. I am. You know, I feel like Brood War is going to be around for a while yet, you know, a couple of years at least, and that's perfectly fine. I don't see it as competition, I just see it as something people love. Quick third base for Tenryu. Knows he does have a little bit of time. Oh, interesting. Are we going to see a DT expand from Inori as well? We certainly could. I mean, DT expands are kind of tough to do damage with right now in ZVT because, again, you know, look at this early Evo chamber that all the Zergs are getting these days. But, yeah, at the same time, it does kind of keep the Zerg in their base. they can't really move out against you with anything on the ground until they have some overseers, until they have that lair. Ro4 as well going down. So it looks like Tenryu has kind of a specific way he likes to play this map. And how much has he really seen? He hasn't really gotten in there and been able to see anything. He doesn't know about the Twilight Council. Doesn't know about the Dark Shrine, obviously. A couple more gateways being put down as well. And this is kind of that nice wall off that I was kind of talking about that Inori managed to put up in time here. So I don't know. I feel like Tenryu, you know, he's doing okay. Both of these guys doing okay. It's all going to come down to a lot of control, a lot of scouting. Where is the nearest overlord that could scout? There's a Ling here, and there's an overlord here. Okay, so this overlord could do some scouting. Could kind of fly up here and look in there, and I kind of expect to see that fairly soon. Oh, but actually he might have this push to worry about instead. He's going to push right when that Dark Shrine finishes. Pretty crisply timed by FXOinori. And yeah, it looks like he did see it, so... trying to get that spine crawler in position. Does he have enough units? So he had barely enough against Perfect. Is he going to have enough against Inori? Lair just about finishing right now. Kind of curious to see what upgrades and what tech he's going to try to do. I would imagine we're probably going to see a infestation pit or something like that. DT is being warped in by FXOinori right now. And, you know, despite having the Spore Crawler in position, or actually does he have a Spore Crawler in position? Does he not have a Spore Crawler? Oh, he doesn't know. Oh no. He has the Evo Chamber but no Spore Crawler. He's still got a decent amount of units here, and now he knows that he should have a Spore Crawler. Pretty much needs one right now. Yeah, all the drones coming off the line as well to try to stay defensive because there is a DT in the main as well. So this time around, you know, he wasn't able to get into the base. He wasn't able to really get as much scouting as he could last time against Perfect. So he had the Evo Chamber like most Zergs would get, but this time, no Spore Crawler. This time he does have the Overseer though, so the lair was in time. Took a little bit of damage to his lair, but other than that, not so much. If we look at the units lost tab, yeah, only 3 workers killed, so that's not terribly bad. He's going to go and take this DT out as well. And so Inori has a great opportunity here to take this third and basically stay really safe. He's got plenty of units. He's got DTs. It's expensive to make a lot of Overseers. Oh, this DT even escapes. Nicely done there. Changeling going out to do some scouting. These things are pretty gross. I don't know about you guys. Alright, so let's see where we're at here. Blink being researched by FXOinori. I think that's a good decision there. Blink Stalkers in the late game with upgrades can be very tough to deal with. Oh, just heard a Changeling die somewhere. And we also have a Forge somewhere. Oh, right here. Okay. No, there it is. Nope, that's not a Forge. Okay. All the things I clicked on were not Forges, but there's a Forge somewhere. There it is. Okay, there is a Forge there. Inori actually playing very safe here. Usually don't see Protoss players wall this third base off, or at least attempt to. I kind of like that. Oh, more DTs. He's going to get the Spine Crawler, but that DT is going to get taken out. Pretty tough to spot DTs on the minimap when you're observing, too. I have to watch very carefully. Hydra Den going up for FXOinori. If he goes like Ling, Hydra against Blink Stalker, DT, that could work. But I've got a feeling, too, we're probably going to see some other tech coming out from Inori in the near future. I have to imagine he's not going to stick on it. Yep, there's the Robotics Bay going up for Colossi tech. And that'll go very well against Ling Hydra, so looks like Tenryu might want to try to make something happen here. He does have one Overseer in with the army right now, trying to catch Inori rather at a point where he's trying to tech, doesn't have a lot of units. But I think he actually does have plenty of units. Slightly less supply than Tenryu, but it's going to be fine. It's not really a big deal at all. The DT aggression is basically stopped. There is a Spore Crawler at all the mineral lines right now, I believe. Yep, there's a Spore Crawler right there. Yep, that way, you know, if you put a Spore Crawler right here, you can kind of keep an eye on this area, and then also kind of keep the main from having anything get into it. So right now, DT is just kind of looking around the map. Look out, Zergling! Oh, the humanity. Wow, that thing just exploded, man. Here's a DT at this hatchery as well. So Tenryu taking a lot of bases right now. I mean, he's doing a good job of keeping up with FXOinori. I'm curious to see just how much he's scouted so far. How much he's really seen. He hasn't seen a whole lot yet. Oh, he did see the robotics bay though. That gives away quite a bit. So that's why we see him getting the Spire up in the production top. Oh, doesn't want to attack that army, that's for sure. DT's causing mischief at the gold base. And FXOinori is just doing really well with these DTs. I mean, this is kind of what you want to do. Well, not this. That isn't what you want to do. But, you know, just kind of walk in DTs here and there. Try to do some damage. Just try to be annoying. Keep your opponent on your toes. Or on their toes. But, you know, it's not actually working terribly well. I mean, hasn't been able to cause too much damage with the DTs. You know, let's take a look at the workers killed. He's killed 10 workers total. He's spent quite a bit on DTs and it hasn't quite panned out for him yet. But the big thing with FXOinori though is that he's had time to tech. He's had time to get that third base up and running. He's going to be able to max off this. Might even decide to go after that gold. Yeah, actually is just putting that gold down right now. And Tenryu is just in a position where his composition just isn't going to beat what Inori has right now. He's got Ling, Roach, and a few Infestors here. Meanwhile, that's a lot of Blink Stalkers and the Colossi, so, you know, it'd be okay. Wouldn't be terrible. That is a good amount of Lings, I guess. But Inori continuing to tech. He is getting that Templar Archives right there. Trying to watch for DTs on the mini-map. A couple Lings try to run to the natural to see what they can see. Can't get in, though. Perfect wall off by FXOinori. Nice job there. And a bit of a battle here. Oh, no. Good amount of Lings getting caught by those force fields. And with 2 Colossi out right now, this is starting to look pretty scary for Tenryu. I like this, so he is getting Neural Parasite from his Infestation Pit. That's going to be quite helpful against those Colossi. Go ahead and Neural those. And FXOinori getting a lot of cannons at this natural. Wanting to stay pretty safe. Now Tenryu's maxed out. Inori about 30 supply behind right now. How about 20 supply at the moment? Tenryu's having time to get his Colossi. He's getting that unit position or unit composition back to a point where it'll be a little bit better against what Inori is going to be throwing at him. So I don't know, man. DT is going to die, obviously. In a straight up fight, it's going to be pretty close. It's going to come down a lot to control, although I think FXOinori does have the advantage in terms of composition. Oh, getting a Warp Prism too, that's very cool. Alright, Fast Hive on the way. And if he goes for that Greater Spire, I mean, that could do okay. I mean, Infestor Broodlord does pretty well overall. I mean, you can fungal the Stalkers so they can't get underneath your Broodlords. You can surround with Lings and things like that. Corruptors for Colossi. Tenryu always trying to keep one base up on his opponent. But even one base up against the Max Protoss is a very difficult position to be in, I would say. That is a lot of units for FXOinori. He's going to try to come down, possibly do some damage to the gold. But, you know, on this map, it's kind of difficult to find a place to work in, really, for this. FXOinori looks like he's going to go for it, using that Observer to take out creep tumors along the way. Looks like there was a bit of a DT drop here in the main, but didn't really do a whole lot. But it is going to allow Inori to push up. Get Tenryu's army a little bit out of position there. A lot of creep tumors getting taken out by FXOinori right now, and that's a really good thing to do. I mean, it's perfectly fine just to kind of walk around the map, show yourself, take out creep tumors. And here comes a fight right now. A lot of Lings coming in. Is it going to be enough, though? Fungal's going down on some of the Stalkers here. Corruptors trying to get after the Colossi. Nice feedbacks on those Infestors, though. And Inori, with those feedbacks, really kind of saving the day here. He's going to have a lot more Blink Stalkers than TenryuRH has Roaches. That's going to be very helpful. Blinking ahead to take out some more Roaches. He's got to be careful, though. He doesn't want to overextend. Inori needs to be careful right now. He's still down by about 60 supply. That's the thing, is Tenryu is going to be able to max out so much quicker than Inori is right now. How many gateways does he have? He has a good amount. But I mean, look at this. He's got so much money built up. If he had more gateways, he could easily be, you know, back up in supply, you know, back up in meeting TenryuRH. And this expansion is going to need to get denied. Yep. Gets denied. Nexus gets canceled. Small DT Zealot Strike Force moving into the natural. This is kind of how we saw him win his quarterfinal match, that is. Only one Infestor there defending. The Infestor does see it, and nice Fungal catching the Dark Templar at the same time. And doing some decent damage to that. But that Infestor, how many Fungals does he have left? 0. He's actually out of Fungal right now. Oh, look at this. More Zealots and DTs being brought in here. But there is an Observer, or an Overseer rather, and a Spore Crawler, so it's going to get cleaned up pretty quickly. Meanwhile, a Roach attack at the natural. And this could potentially do a little bit of damage here. Not really able to warp in too quickly. Inori not attacking with these units, though. Inori not quite sure where to send his army. Oh no, he does get a Colossus sniped by TenryuRH. And Tenryu's actually playing really well. He's kind of giving FXOinori a run for his money. Here come the Roaches, though, and I don't know if that's going to be, you know, again, the best composition to go up against what Inori has. That's kind of the big concern right now, is that Blink Stalkers are just so good against a lot of what Zerg can produce. He's going to need those Broodlords, and that's exactly what he's getting right now. He's getting them somewhere on the map. Morphing in some Broodlords. There they are. Getting +3 missile attacks as well. So, I mean, Tenryu's trying to do everything he can. He just ended up with kind of a poor composition in the mid-game, which really allowed Inori to expand a lot more than most Protoss would have been able to. Excuse me. One Spine Crawler is taken out. But, again, you know, the Warp Prism not doing a whole lot. Here come the Hydras to finally take it out. I was kind of wondering when that was going to happen. Oh. Scan to take out the DT. Or, not scan. Fungal growth. Alright, so here we are again. I mean, the armies are both basically maxed. FXOinori looking pretty good right now. But TenryuRH as well. I mean, we've got an actual split map on dual site. I've never actually seen this before. Those probes, what are those probes doing there? Probes, where have you gone? They're like, fine, have a pylon. And then we're going to run right into the army. Okay. That's it. Those were the saddest probes ever. Made me cry. Look at this. This Warp Prism being so annoying here. This Queen is going to get taken out. And it looks like FXOinori has had enough. He's going to push into the natural. Oh my gosh. Is TenryuRH going to go for a base trade? I don't know if that's the smartest idea. FXOinori is going to tear apart this base really quickly. Look at this. He's got Zealots again in the gold base. And they're actually going after the hatchery rather than killing the Queen. So the Queen's going to be able to clean that up. Natural base taken out. Natural about to be taken out for FXOinori as well. That Colossi is like, ah! I didn't want to be built here. Things have officially gotten insane this game. It is a base race off of a split map situation on dual site. Broodlord's going back to try to do some more damage at another base. Maybe try to save this hatchery from those Zealots. TenryuRH trying to do some damage with these Roaches and Lynx. But look at this. The Hive is about to be taken out by FXOinori. TenryuRH suddenly plummeting in supply quite a bit. I mean, these Stalkers are just going to absolutely live forever. And I just don't think that TenryuRH can engage army to army against Inori right now. Oh, look at this. All these Spine Crawlers trying to protect this base. And, you know, there were some Void Rays being produced as well by FXOinori, so those are going to be quite helpful against the Broodlords when that finally does happen. Yeah, I think FXOinori's got this game. This army's just not going to be strong enough. Yeah, units taking damage. He's going to lose some more to these cannons. 148 to 152. The supply is still fairly even. This base is kind of the last stand for TenryuRH. Is he going to pull his army back and try to defend? Maybe with the Spine Crawlers plus the army he can do it. That is a lot of Spine Crawlers. Here comes the army for TenryuRH coming in as well. But is it going to be enough? Only just a lot of Roaches left at this point. Here he goes. He's going to try to do it. Nice storms going down on all those Roaches. And yeah, with all the storms, I think that TenryuRH's days are numbered in this game. FXOinori doing some great harassment with the DTs and the Zelds. GG! And FXOinori takes game 1 in a very exciting semifinal match here on Dual Site. Yeah, I think that's the first split map I've ever seen on this map. Very, very cool. Alright, so let's move right into game 2. Come right back, guys. It is LastPlayerStanding.com's Open Tournament number 2. I'm Doa. See you on the next cast.